My name is Tameka Norris, here at Ronchini Gallery in London, England. The opening of my exhibition, Almost Acquaintances, opening tonight and will be up through March 29th, 2014. I came to art, I feel like, sort of late in my life, like in my early 20s. Although I understand the hierarchy, like, oh, painting is painting, but at the same time, for me, there just is no hierarchy with the mediums I use. So it's photo, my body, video, performance, painting, found objects, my voice, all of it. I use a lot of photographic references for the paintings, and they're photos that I actually take myself. In the early part of my practice, I used a projector. You know, obviously when you use a projector, you need dim or dark space in order to see the image. So yeah, I basically painted in the dark, sort of like a paint by number system. I look at the color that is being projected and I sort of mimic and alter, and they're just small marks that build up, and as they build up, it sort of becomes a version of the photograph. And more recently, I've not relied on the projector as much. Ironically, the initial projector that I purchased broke, and it was an old like didactic school overhead projector, and it has a hum and it has a sound, and I was very much attached to the object of it, and the hum was a very important part of the work too, this sort of static sound, and there's a heat that it gives off. And I bought it used at like a thrift store, and you never knew when it was gonna break. So it's this constant angst of like, this might be the last one, it can go off at any second, and it's you know, it's this really intense feeling that's generated. And actually it broke, and so I stopped using a projector, and I had to come up with new ways to make the paintings. So my current work is really convoluted in a really bizarre and beautiful way, that I work with a lot of assistants now that help me make the work, and a lot of them are either students that I've taught or other young artists, and they tend to be younger artists that are from New Orleans. Obviously that's where my studio is, and a lot of them were there when Katrina happened. So it's also this sort of oral storytelling process of them telling me stories and helping me work things out and sewing. So it kind of has become this sort of collaboration with other people as well, and their stories. I think that the works are very performative. Like, even while I'm making it, I'm very much aware of myself and my body and the things that I'm touching, and it's very, like, I almost feel like I'm performing more when I'm making a painting than when I'm actually performing or making a video, because it's still a very strange alien process of like making magic, like you're manifesting something out of nothing. It's just so bizarre. So for me, it's really, really experiential. Like I'm very much immersed in the process, and it's really not like me commanding something of the things. This might sound strange, and I'm not like a shaman or anything, but like it's very much about listening to what the work wants. I can't put all of my shit, all of my intentions onto it. I have to kind of silence myself and listen as though I'm listening to a friend or listening to, you know, a lover. I have to know what they need and not give them what I think they need. I remade Michelangelo Pistoletto's Venus of the Rags. Venus, as we know, within Greek mythology is a figure of fertility, of wealth, of beauty, of the ideal. And as a sort of artist in art history, Venus represents sort of the ideal subject to paint and to sculpt, etc. So I'm a little bit obsessed, as many women are, unfortunately. You know, it's a sort of critique and desire, you know, of examining one's body and trying to become perfect, and knowing that that will never happen. But still striving towards it in some way. I wasn't thinking about the tattoos initially when I did the piece, but clearly when I looked at the video, it made me cringe to look at the tattoos. So also Venus is timeless. She's timeless. She's regionless. She's everywhere all the time. You know, my tattoo specifically, which is very embarrassingly the butterfly tattoo, which is so specific to gender, to a certain period in time, like we'll say like a certain part of the late 90s, potentially, regionally, potentially class, even. Social class. And so there was a very knee-jerk reaction, and it became so apparent, the juxtaposition between myself and Venus. And so if I am in fact Venus, I am, or attempting to become Venus, I am the sculpture. I will become a reductive sculpture that will be chiseled away from, removing from. I am a reductive sculpture. A challenge I had to overcome, particularly with this exhibition, was an extremely unexpected situation. My mentor and very, very good friend and artistic collaborator died on Friday. And so he has been one of the most influential people in my life, and certainly in my artistic life. He helped me name the show, but I consult with him quite often, and his opinion of my work and my growth is extremely important. And so this is almost a moment of a coming of age where I'm now here to make decisions on my own about my work. I know he's here with me, but I know moving forward, you know, I don't have that person to kind of bounce things off with. His name is Terry Atkins, and he's actually in the Whitney Biennial in the United States this year that opens in a few weeks. And it's his first time in the biennial. There isn't necessarily one work that I think represents it. I think it's more of the process and the shift in process. This is the first body of work that I've made with assistance, and I have not micromanaged every single step. My hand has, other hands have touched the work. So I think if anything, what the common thread is that it's been more of a, I guess you can almost call it a collaborative effort between myself and other young people. Showing my work for the first time here in Europe, or just for the first time outside the United States, has been sort of an invaluable experience. Just trying to think about my work and the sort of frame that it's within. It's sort of a broader frame now. Sure hope that it incites new meanings and new possibilities for the work to grow.